Kenyan Open Data was actually a project that landed in my docket, so it was one of the projects that I helped manage when it came to the Kenya ICT Board. When we started talking about open data, actually in 2010, it was under local content, so we're approaching it from a local content perspective. So I guess that's why it ended up with me. We had a bit of a launch, which was a bit of a disaster, but we knew about it. So what happened was that we had a lot of pressure, and perhaps even before 2010, that's when I joined Kenya ICT Board, so I can remember then. We had a lot of pressure from the techie community saying they needed data, this is what they needed to help build more useful applications. We also were introducing a competition for digital content, and we were actually asking people to use open data, so it's something that we desperately needed. So we got the domain name and put up this website, but we didn't actually have the data. So on the website we described what open data is, but we didn't have the data yet from anybody. So eventually we just pulled it down and realized we're not really ready for it, and then actually there was a different angle we needed to work, and that's the political angle. So it kind of died out for a while, but yeah, we made an attempt in 2010.
So then last year it caught.
And then yes, early last year everything just fell into place at the same time. It was quite amazing. So we suddenly started getting good political will. We were able to get a few data sets, and yeah, everything just seemed to really work. The funding, the data, everything came together at the same time. We got lots of support from our stakeholders, and it was just ripe. It was the right time for us to do it. So we're really happy that we were able to do it in 2011. From earlier in the year, there'd been a lot of discussions about open data. I mean, no doubt we've been inspired by what the World Bank had done, and we began, or within government, the permanent secretary at the Ministry of Information and Communications, PS Ndemo, was definitely talking to a lot of people, trying to convince them to start opening up their data. We've been doing a lot of digitization work within government, so we knew there was a lot of data. We'd been doing work with health, we had been doing work with the Ministry of Education, so in fact we'd convinced the Ministry of Education to give us data for one of our grantees, and eventually they realized that actually there's no need to sit on this data, might as well give it open it up. So, well, now we needed a platform, because we're getting these data sets, people are, okay, here's an Excel sheet, or here's this information. We needed a platform to put it all on, so that people could have one place that they could come and access, and we wanted to make it as useful as possible. I remember Friday night, I think, when we got the census data, and that's why I'm saying I was there, and I think that's how I ended up being roped in. I should have left the office early, but yeah, I was there. It was a Friday night. We got the census data, and we had there was Tracy and Chris Finch were in our office. And we started really planning, because we thought, well, we really need to get a platform now. We've got some interesting data sets. There'd also been work going on before we got involved with the Ministry of Finance, so they had financial data as well. So all these data sets, we mapped them out on a board and realized we had, quite a few data, quite a bit of data. So right then we decided, well, we've got to put it on a platform and launch it. And true to the style of the ministry and the Kenya ICT Board, we decided we'd do it within a month, and which was crazy as it was. And but by the next week, that changed to 3 weeks, not even a month. But I think right then, even on that first Friday, when we decided to put a platform together, we immediately started calling stakeholders and people to come and support us. They'd already been involved. The PS had already been doing some work, the World Bank had been doing some work, the World Bank here in Kenya, and us. So we called our stakeholders even that day and started to put together a group that could come and help us design and build a platform. So our initial plan was to develop a platform from scratch locally. But when we were given the 3-week deadline, we were told that it wasn't going to be possible. You can't build such a platform within 3 weeks. It was important that we met our 3 weeks deadline, because we had support. We were told the head of state was going to come and launch, so it was a deadline that couldn't move. It had to happen then. So that's when we decided then we would go and buy a platform. so that, you know, we just concentrate on putting together the data and publicizing the portal. So yeah, we put together the task team, and we started meeting a couple times a week, and it was fantastic. It was like a miracle, actually. It was really great. We had fantastic support, especially from the tech community. We involved people from civil society as well, and then from within government. We brought in a few different people within government from the ministries involved, and from Ministry of Planning and the Kenya Bureau of Statistics. And as a team, we started planning the launch, putting together the platform, and we met our 3 weeks deadline. It was a really crazy time. One of the things we had done with the task team is that we divided everybody up into groups. There was one group looking at the technology, a group looking at the data, and a group looking at the event and the launch. So, you know, it was a really busy time, and everyone was really busy and running up and down doing their thing, and dealing with, yes, of course. So with the event, given that the head of state was coming to launch the event, we had to think about protocol issues. And well, we'd also been given a target for the event that, you know, Ndemo wanted 3,000 people there. So, you know, there was quite some work cut out for us. And we were really busy working on everything, and then suddenly everything goes quiet. Before that, I used to get calls every day confirming this, who's coming, can we see the laptop that's going to be there, we want to do security checks of all sorts. And you know, 48 hours before, suddenly no one's calling, and we get word from the permanent secretary that the launch was off. So when we talk about open data, a lot of people ask us, isn't it dangerous? And that's the question that was going around, like, should we really be doing this as a country? Should we be sharing all our data online? And there was a big concern that, you know, maybe it wasn't the right thing to do. But, you know, the PS and a few of our stakeholders and Paul Kukubo, the CEO at the Kenya ICT Board, actually went and met with the head of state. And, you know, he listened to what we had to say. We actually had the portal up and ready by then. And we sat him down, he had a look at it, he actually, you know, browsed and you know, got a real good feel of what we were doing. And there were a lot of other high-level decision makers in that meeting, head of security, and they all had a look at it, listened to what we were trying to do, and they were confident that this was something that we needed to do for the country. And so, you know, he said, go ahead, we'll do it, and the head of state will come and launch the open data portal. We had a target to invite 3,000 people. You know, we have a pretty good database, and we've been in touch with a lot of, we have, you know, a good reach, I would say. But coming up with 3,000 people still is quite a feast. But, you know, we sent out the words, we sent out invitations to our database, to the press, the media, and, you know, a few days before the event, we had 2,000 people registered to come. Now, the event was starting late morning, and so there was a suggestion that we feed everyone. But when we had to describe what we had as actually feeding 2,000 people, that was not going to be possible. So it would go on and off. At some points, it was like, there's no way we can't have lunch. And then, you know, you try to explain there's 2,000 people, it would be off and on, and eventually it was off, which was a bit of a relief. It was going to be a bit of a nightmare. But, you know, the 2,000 people came, and it was a really fantastic event. I think we reached a lot of people. People were very excited about it. It's something a lot of people in different sectors had really been waiting for. So I think we did a good thing. There are a lot of lessons. I mean, things went pretty smoothly, but, you know, we had a lot of hurdles that we had to overcome. But looking not just at the 6 weeks where we planned this event and went ahead, from even 2010 when we were working, I think one of the things we really realized how political it is, how, you know, getting data is not an easy thing to do. So one of the things we're really concentrating on right now is developing a policy for how we're going to start collecting data going forward. We're really lucky. One of the other things that worked for us is that our new constitution, or the revised constitution for Kenya, actually has a clause in there that stipulates that citizens have a right to government information that's collected about them. So that really helped us give muscle to what we were trying to do. In 2010, we didn't have this constitution, we didn't have this legal framework to help us achieve our mission. So for now it's been working. We've had a great champion in the PS, and it's been working really great. But I think one of the lessons we need to learn is that we need a wider government support and buy-in for open government and open data.
For it to work.
For it to work.
Right.
So now we've entered into the second phase of open data, what we're calling the second phase, from October last year to March in 2012. And we're concentrating on a couple things. One is outreach. So it's great, we've launched the open data portal, it's there, 2,000 people came, but without a really strong outreach program, we are likely to fall into the traps of open data, which a lot of other governments have fallen into as well. So we're developing an outreach program, and we really want to reach some targeted groups, including the techies, but beyond techies as well, civil society who have great need for this data and have great ideas of how the data can be used. So we want them to know about it. We want them to partner with the techies to develop applications that will make this data really relevant and useful to citizens. We want to partner with academia, who've been longing for this data as well, who can use it in their research, and we want especially students as well to start using it. So we want to go into academia, the universities especially, and really do outreach, long-lasting outreach programs with them so that they can start using the data. The press and the media are a very important partner for us. So we also want to make sure that they really understand what open data is and how to use the portal, how to mine the data, and also to start creating demand for more data sets that we can then use as a way to get more government agencies and government ministries to give us their data. So the press and media are a very important partner for us, and we want to have outreach programs with them as well. So that's academia, techies, civil society, press, and public service. So within government, we want different government agencies to know how to use the portal, how to mine that data. So government as well, we also sometimes are trapped in silos. So there's fantastic data we have from the Ministry of Health that another ministry could really do with and could use in their planning. So we want also within government, civil servants and public staff within the government to be able to use open data to understand it, and also again create the demand within their ministries and start producing even better data sets and more data for us to post.